Okay, now I'm gonna load in.
Okay. Hopefully we don't have any flat walls.
I'll say it's a poltergeist.
Yep.
What is that?
That was me.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
So that was a really cool feedback loop. Because I wasn't muted.
That's crazy.
Nice background. That was me again. All right, let's get some audio rolling.
Okay.
Say something?
Hello?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Should I mute you?
Yeah, go ahead and mute me. For some reason, it's coming through the display speakers and not through my headphones. Say something.
Hello?
Let's look right here.
Hello?
Yeah, let me log out.
Hello? Hello?
Excuse me.
Oh, you doing your nails?
Oh,
Yeah, whatever.
I'm trying to do the music. So, because my co-host constantly makes fun of me for it.
Oh, you're fine.
So I'm trying to get it ready so
Yeah.
that you don't say things like, music's never queued up. Here, I'll make you the host, and you can do all the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cool.
Got.
Got all your backgrounds ready to go?
Yep, I do.
Okay.
Got some. Cool. Ooh. How you been?
I'm okay. I haven't really been doing any shows or anything. Honey, I can hear you.
That's let's see. That's I don't know how that was. Oh, is that's him. I always forget A. Gonzalez is
Right?
his Grimes. I'm like, why do I know A. Gonzalez?
What? Right? No, I'm okay. How have you been doing? I haven't been really doing any shows. No one's asking me on their shows.
We'll get you. I got you. I'll shoot you the date because what was it? We're gonna have you, Rhoda, and AJ on one of the June show and tell shows.
Oh, cool.
So we'll have you on that.
You know what? I was talking to Nina G. I thought that her and me and Ivy should all show our wedding pictures. I thought that would be hilarious.
That'd be a good one. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. But yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll still do my wedding picture because it was pretty fucking goth.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, because maybe that actually would be a good themed one. So yeah,
right?
I'll talk to Nina about that because then we just.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, man? Look who's there. Look at this.
What's
guy.
going on,
Hey,
dude?
look, Rudy.
My guy. What's up, Eerie? What's up, Dave?
What's up, man?
Shit, man.
What's up,
Just
Rudy?
chilling.
How are you?
Good, man. I'm hanging in there. How you guys doing?
Good. Your hair doesn't look that bad.
You know what? I combed it. I combed it today. Like I took a shower, then I combed it, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna try to keep it somewhat, tame today."
See, Dave's got a haircut that he doesn't have to worry about it. It just keeps getting longer.
Hey, man. It doesn't get longer.
I mean, it's not like it gets weird when it, as it grows, though, Dave.
It's weird if I don't wash it.
Dude, I would get a haircut if somebody was willing to get that close to me right now, man.
Right?
I swear that's why Tekashi 6ix9ine is still alive. There's nobody near the motherfucker. Nobody else gets there.
Okay, I hear Ben is on here.
Ben's here. Yeah, he'll get it.
Get your video happening, Ben.
There it is. I thought it started. I didn't realize it didn't start with video.
There he is.
Boom.
There he is.
What up, Ben?
Hey, how's
Hey.
it going, guys?
Make sure.
Track, dude.
Unfortunately, I have a delivery that was supposed to be here, and it might be coming any minute. So I might just have to run downstairs real quick.
Not a problem. Not a
That's
problem.
So
not a
be it.
problem at all.
So be
Yeah.
it, baby.
So
Much
far, it's just some friends hanging out. Anyways, there's actual no audience. So
They'll be here. What the fuck? Calm down. They all show up here late and shit. Well, not late, but they're always rolling in like they all. Because you know that if we had it here, remember, we wouldn't. Every time we tried to start, get here before 5:55, everything would be all fucked up, and then
yeah,
we'd
true.
get in till
It's not gonna
5:55.
pop off.
Yeah, everybody knows.
100%.
it.
100%. Ben, so where do you live, Ben?
I'm in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
You're in the city.
Yeah, right by the Panhandle.
I love that background.
Yeah, somebody posted this photo on Twitter, which is apparently like Data and what's his name from Star Trek smoking a blunt. I just thought it was.
Whoa.
That's not Photoshop. That's real.
I don't know if it's real, but it looks real.
But Data's in his
I believe it's real.
Real.
Yeah,
Data outfit. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's
Full Data
wild.
makeup.
I
Was that
got
the
it.
Christmas party?
Probably right. The Star Trek crew Christmas party.
The wrap up after the last show. They were like, fuck it, let's do it.
Like, yeah, blast off. I got a bunch of random photos to use as Zoom backgrounds. I bought a green tablecloth off the internet to use as a
Nice.
green screen.
There you go. All right.
Smart. That's good because I've been trying to do it on mine without a green screen, but it keeps telling me that I don't have my computer doesn't have the software or some shit to do it.
Yeah, I
Whack.
think yeah, if
Probably
you get
Dave's parents.
a background.
There.
What's up, Mom? What's up, Dad?
What's up, Dave's
Hey, you
parents?
guys.
There.
Hi, guys.
Having
Hey,
in.
Jason's here. Here they all coming. See, told you. I'll always.
The parentals.
Here they come.
They watch every Sunday. They're here.
Yeah,
That's
I think
dope,
it's
man.
for me, but
yeah, they love you.
That's dope, man. See?
Here come our
Parents
regulars.
parents support us. And the
They're
parents-
all
What's up,
regulars.
Rudy? What's up, parents? How are you guys?
Here they come.
Jason.
Hey, Mom, did you ever check out that book? Yeah, right on. We're gonna have to start a book club now. 2-person book club.
You gonna tell them about it, Mom?
Oh wait. Can we
Well, I
hear it?
haven't.
What's up, Melanie?
Yeah,
We can hear you, Mom.
I haven't read it because we're too busy with Nina G's book.
Oh, of course. Yes, one at a time so you can
One at a
focus.
time.
That way you can really like dig into it.
We read out loud to each other.
Yeah, we're slow readers.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
I'm a double reader. I read every sentence twice to make sure I got all of it, everything that I needed.
It's very respectful.
Understood.
I thought I was the only one that did that.
No, gotta do it. After years of fucking up, you realize, okay, this is the only way to get it right. I gotta read it twice.
That's true.
All right, Dave, should we start this thing?
Yeah, sure. We'll
Start this thing.
all right, let's get ready. Cue the music. And welcome, everybody. We are here. It's a Sunday, 6 o'clock.
Another terrible podcast by comics
Terrible podcast.
in isolation.
Every Sunday.
I am aspiring comedian, Eerie Diamond. Hi.
Hello.
My co-host, professional aspiring comic.
Kill the music now.
No, I like it.
No, we don't.
Mean
Sounds loud.
Dave. Mean Dave.
Good to see everybody. Once again, happy Sunday. We made it through another week, trudging through this lightless end of a tunnel that we have here in the quarantine. Good to see everybody. We have our guest here this week. I want to welcome comedians Rudy Ortiz, Rudy O, everybody, and
What's up,
Ben
guys?
Kolina, everybody. So give them,
How's it going?
welcome them. And so yes,
Welcome.
we'll start off with our brief introduction. This is all audience who knows us, Eerie, so we don't need to cover us there. So this is our segment. Listen up. So basically, Rudy and Ben each. We'll start with you, Rudy. Just give us just a brief introduction to those who don't know you, your life story up to this point.
Well, I'm from the Bay Area. I'm an East Bay comic. I got into comedy maybe like about 12 years ago and just kept on doing it and had a bunch of other jobs along the way and stuff. Comedy eventually led me into dabbling with the radio. So I do some radio work now too. So that's basically what's consumed my life up until this point. First 12 years just doing first 7 years just doing comedy, and then maybe the last 5 years doing comedy and radio. And yeah, man, and now that I can't do either one the way I used to, I have to do them all like this now. This is literally the only way I can communicate with people now for radio or anything comedy related. So here I am, man, ready to rock with you guys.
And you do radio on KBLX, is that right?
KBLX, yeah, I do the morning show. It's called The Dream Team. Morning show 5 to 10 Monday through Friday on it's 102.9. Those are the
landlord might listen to you because he was playing
probably
Alex in the garage earlier, like I think yesterday. But
if he doesn't mind listening to Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison 6 times a day, then I'm sure he'll love it.
I'm pretty sure
That's our go-to jam.
I'm sure that holds
I
up.
just heard that song on the radio yesterday, dude, and I was like, "What
It's
is
everywhere.
the song?"
Because the Mac returns at all times.
It's one of those songs that won't die. I love it personally, but it amazes me how nobody ever gets sick of it. It's the I will survive for guys. It's the I will survive like male women. I swear, listen to it. It's that same energy. I think that's why it's stuck around.
I just wonder where the Mac went that he's returning from.
Yeah, the Mac. It's a one-hit wonder, though.
He's
Right?
going all the way back.
There was
All
never
the way
a
back.
Mac out of here. Mac's out of here. Anyway,
It's
All right.
back to not being heard of.
iMac came back.
and our next guest, Ben Kolina. Let's get your life story in about 200 words or less or whatever at this point.
I grew up in Livermore, California, in the East Bay. I've been living in San Francisco for about 5 years now. Still doing stand-up comedy for about 10 now, and coaching high school baseball for about 3 years now.
Nice.
And like Rudy was saying, doing all of those things now through the computer. We had to do a senior night for our seniors and a end of the year meeting through Zoom, and doing comedy through Zoom now. So, making do and getting by.
Nice. So yeah, to answer my parents, yes, this is a Cheap Trick parody shirt of the band Easy Action. It's not Cheap Trick, but it's parodying that. And yes, Ben is wearing a Montreal Expos hat. We'll get to some of that. We'll get to some of that soon. So first question, our first category, we always like to check in and just see how is everybody holding up in the old, hang on, that's not what I wanted. How's everybody holding up in the quarantine? How's everybody holding up now? You guys, what's on your scale of 1 to I'm fucking out of my head and I'm ready to snap? Are you in the quarantine? So we'll start with you, Ken.
I'm good. It gets stressful at times, but it's been all right. There's Korean baseball going on, so I've been watching a lot of that late at night. I'm still getting paid to coach through the season, even though spring sports are canceled at the school that I coach at. So that's made it nice. So I don't have to worry about money so much.
Eerie's got a question.
I have a question, Ben.
Yeah.
So you're not coaching now, obviously, right? Or what are you doing?
No, yeah, our season was canceled
Right.
around the time shelter in place started, like about a week before that.
But when you're not coaching, like, do you teach like something else? Like our PE teachers used to have to teach like driver's ed and shit like that. Like, do you have to teach weird things when you're not coaching?
I am just a baseball coach.
Like that?
I'm just a baseball coach, just during spring sports. So
He's
I have a day job that I work at during the winter and fall, and then spring I do like half days there, and then go coach the other half of the day.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Right on. And then Rudy, how are you holding up?
Well, right now on a scale of 1 to 10, man, like 10 being, fucking going crazy. Right now I'm like at a 6, 5, maybe somewhere in the middle, but I can tell you, man, like I've been going back and forth, up and down. The first couple of weeks, I didn't really think much of it. I was just kind of going with the flow. But then the shit really started kind of bothering me, Wasn't seeing any friends, wasn't seeing any family. I'm not really by nature. It doesn't really suit me well to just stay in the house all day, So it started really bothering me. Small stuff started bothering me, like the fact that I couldn't, like drive to go get a haircut. At first it was innocent. It was innocent fun. But now that shit is like, now I feel it on the back of my neck and it causes like anxiety. I'm like, get this off my neck. I want to do normal stuff, But it fluctuates though, man. The 1 week I was like really stressed out, borderline depressed, which is that's rare for me to feel that way. So I could really tell that, the whole quarantine was taking a toll on me. But last couple of weeks though have been pretty good, still go up and down a little bit, but now I've been kind of floating along that 5 or 6 level, I'm one of those people that just can't wait for things to get back to normal, like normal, not the new normal. I want the original shit back. I want the old shit.
Yeah.
Do you live alone, or do you have roommates, or what?
Yeah. No, alone right now. I have a little spot in Hayward, so I got a little place there. So the fact that I get to do radio work in the morning is really helpful for me, because I need to I get a chance to talk to somebody and do some sort of interaction, even if it's just like all audio. So that alone has probably been helping me out a lot. Just having the opportunity to talk to somebody, which is really just a really good reminder for everybody to just reach out to people and just holler at them and say, "What's up? How you doing?" I've had so many comics that I never really talked to via text or anything like that, just when I see them at the club. But I've had so many comics hit me up lately just to ask me how I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And I super appreciate that, because I'm pretty sure that people didn't think that I was one of those people that would really need that or want that. But I didn't think so either until I had to stay in the fucking house for a month straight. And then I realized, I was like, dude, I need somebody to say hi to me, something. I needed some sort of interaction. So
I was saying that the strangest thing about this is now we're finding out that people's least favorite, they always say you got to get out of your comfort zone. Well, people seem to be the most out of their comfort zone, staying in their comfort zone for way too long.
Yeah, man.
Strange.
It's like, it's the water torture, dude. I mean, for me, this is what I've been trying to compare it to. I mean, it's the monotony that gets that starts to like crush you a little bit, It's the same drop of water landing on your forehead day in and day out. It doesn't seem like it'll kill you, but if you give it enough time, it just starts eating away at you. And not to say, not to say that things can't be worse. They could certainly be worse, but I think it's just for me, it's been a really good reminder as to how important people are to me in general, you know, even the ones that are hard to get along with. I appreciate them more now than ever.
Thoughtful answer. I'm glad you said, by the way, Melanie, men, yeah, we do have it easier cutting our hair if we just want to use trimmers, but there are people like Rudy who does like to have an even cut.
I need a special cut, God damn it.
I can clip it. Ben, I think he shaves his. Yeah, look at
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, nice.
Good. Like that, you know. So it really depends. There are dudes that are divas though that want their shit crisp from a barber.
I don't want like a big swirl. I don't want like a New York East, like Brooklyn, New York swirl. I don't need all that.
Yeah, I got you. You're not a breakdance.
I would just like to get the back tapered up a little bit. And I don't have those skills to do it on my own. Some people could do it on their own. I can't.
Want to compliment
to see what would happen.
Yeah.
Want to compliment my co-host. Her hair's looking very nice in quarantine today.
Melanie. Nice dude, Melanie.
Ben,
yeah, you know Melanie too, but that's Eerie.
Are you bundled up, Ben? Are you gonna get hit by a car or something? Why are you all in your yellow?
Well, I'm just cozy. I don't know. I like the implication that the hoodie would protect me if I got hit by a car, though.
Ben does like
hit by a car. I'm gonna pull the hood up, and then the car's just gonna crumble around me.
You gotta tighten it though, Ben. You gotta make sure it's tight.
You get one of those?
Yeah, give it a good yank.
It's a waterproof sweatshirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's funny because actually the way I was saying, Ben and I, not to go into too much detail, but one of the things Ben and I had it connecting earlier this week because being in shelter in place, people know me as sometimes I'll troll. I troll on social media, might say some dumb things, and Ben called me on it, and I got defensive at first. And so then we had like a 24-hour period of where I was just sort of like, man, fuck this. I don't know what the fuck his problem is. He's overreacting, whatever. And then also my house almost burned down.
Oh, shit.
I don't want to say the whole house. No, actually, there was a fire that happened early on Tuesday morning. And it felt like the house was going to burn down because there was so much smoke in the whole place. But luckily, it was just it was a drawer of a hatch that like just caught fire from some batteries that had been plugged in, rechargeable batteries that have been plugged in for like 4 years in the same spot. Oh, and they just one Tuesday morning just decided to start fire. And yeah, I was up that morning too and just making coffee. And so then so they put it all out. We put it all out. We let the smoke all get out of the house, had our little thing. And then while I was sitting there just contemplating this, I just remember realizing, I was like, why am I starting shit with Ben Kolina? I've known him for 10 years. We've been in comedy for 10 years. The dude let me crash over his place when I was still drinking and shit-faced drunk one night and a bunch of other shit. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I should just probably, just handle all my bullshit. And so I apologized to Ben and invited him to be on the show here today. And
he's a good guy, Dave.
Yeah, no, he's a damn good guy.
He's a good guy. He's wearing a Montreal Expos hat, for God's sake. He's got a good soul.
Canadian.
Do you think that might be like you going a little bit nuts? Because I've
always been this nuts. I don't. Here's the thing. I haven't changed. I'm not saying like
a little cuckoo.
I go cuckoo when I'm trying to make a fucking point. I honestly wasn't that. I'll say my response. I don't know. This you'd have to ask Ben. Ben, was my response seemed? I thought I was being I was being dismissive. I was being kind of.
Yeah, you're just kind of dismissive, but then. Yeah, like 24 hours later, I got like a really nice message from you, and you kind of were like, I see where you're coming from, and I apologize, and I appreciate that. And I at the time, I think I kind of chalked it up to everyone being a little bit like stir crazy.
You are, yeah, totally.
Maybe you're like a 7 out of 10.
Who?
Like maybe out of the 1 to 10, the 10.
I'm at a 9 when there's no shelter in fucking
that's
place.
true. Okay. No, you're right. You're 100%
yeah.
right.
That's
and
fine.
you'll go after anybody.
Everybody acts like, well, dude, maybe you're fucking over. I'm like, I've always been like this. I'm like this when I can go outside and whatever. I'm like, fucking, this is fine. I'm actually at probably like a 3 because I love seeing people just be fucking, all out of their comfort zone, just always masks on and 6 feet panicking and shit like that.
Well, hold on a second, Dave. Are you saying you're not wearing your mask? How dare you?
I'm wearing my mask. No, I got my mask right here, buddy. I carry it with me. Not a problem.
Nice.
No, I got a mask. I wear it where I'm supposed to and all that shit. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. I abide. You know. So.
Gotta abide.
Eerie, where are you at in this scale?
Oh, it depends on the day. We've talked about this before. You know, some days I'm crazy. Like, I don't know I can't think. You know, you ever get so like mentally exhausted even though you're not doing anything and you just can't do anything? You can't get yourself to do anything. And I can't think and I can't fucking do anything. And then other days I'm fine.
No,
yeah. And and then other days I'm fine. So it just depends on the day. Like today I'm good. I'm like at a low 3, but like 2 days ago I was at like a 9. Like, I gotta get out of here.
Melanie's wondering about the batteries. All that happened, there were these rechargeable batteries that were in a drawer. They were in a wooden drawer in our kitchen. There's a hutch in the kitchen. And for whatever reason, like a half hour after I was last in the kitchen getting some coffee, and the coffee maker was off. It wasn't, because I thought actually my first response when I saw I'm like, oh shit, was the coffee maker, did I leave the coffee maker on? Is this my fault? Like, you used to always assume it's your fault. And then when I saw, by the time I got out to the front, he had already had it out. Like the fire detector went off. But based on the smoke in the house, you would have thought the house was all burning up. We were calling the fire department. It was amazing. It was just this one drawer. And what saved us, after I talked to my landlord, was the dog. Our dog, Soldier, who, very attentive dog, woke him up, licking his face, and growled at him, which then got him to get up, and he was the one who discovered it. And it was literally, I was out there 20, 30 minutes before, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing smelled funny, nothing. It just, whatever caught, it was just that, just in that time. And granted, if it would have been like, give it like 5 more minutes, that whole front of the kitchen would have caught fire. We would have had to get the fire department, and it would have been like, a deal. Yeah, it would have been a deal on like having to get them to save the house or whatever. So we got really lucky. And it wasn't like one of these things where it's like, oh shit, the house almost burned down, I better apologize to people. It was really one of those things. I was sitting in there, I was just thinking about it, and because I when you're up in the morning and then you're whatever, and that's when I was just like, you know what the fuck what am I starting shit with Ben for? So yeah, that's why I was like, yeah.
I'm glad you guys can make amends.
I would have done that even if there wasn't a fire. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
And that your whole story is pointless then. Let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, let's move it on. All right. This
sports
is you guys.
Yeah, sports fan blues.
Because you guys are not just sports fans, but that's what I just realized. You guys are both you currently coach ball for kids, and you did coach ball for kids. Am I correct, Rudy?
Yeah, I'm wearing I happen to be wearing my team's t-shirt. I coached the Ashland Braves for a little while.
Really? Wow,
Yeah.
You're not really with all the current PC team names there.
No, dude, this is Ashland, bro. I mean, you're talking about, this is a very poor, small little league where they don't have time to worry about that shit. They're trying to figure out whether they're going to have like cheese for the nacho boats or not. Like they got real concerns,
They don't have time to change the uniform.
They don't have time to change the uniforms.
Understood. Won't hold it against them. They're kids.
Yeah, they're 5.
You guys are both, I know, avid sports fans. And so how are you coping with, I heard Korean baseball.
Yeah, Korean baseball is so much fun, man. They play like a crazier style. There's more like enthusiasm and expression in the game.
Right.
They're always celebrating by like throwing the bat like 20 feet in the air and stuff. It's crazy.
Really? So it's more energy and emotion. Sounds like.
Yeah. I've decided I'm a fan of the NC Dinos now. Which their mascot is a dinosaur that appears to be on steroids, and his name is Swole Daddy.
Swole Daddy.
Yeah. I actually ordered an NC Dinos shirt online the other day that has a picture of the dinosaur mascot, and it says Dino Dongs.
Are the names of the teams weird or anything, or do they have weird? I mean, that one's weird for sure.
Every team has a corporate sponsor, so the teams like the Kia Tigers is a team, and like the LG Twins, and like So there are teams, every team except for one team, I think like the Kiwoom Heroes doesn't have a sponsor. They're just the Heroes. But it's exciting. It's interesting watch them with empty stands because I guess normally their fans are like super crazy. They're
Well,
like,
I got your Swole Daddy right here.
yeah, Swole Daddy.
Swole Daddy, look
my
at
guy.
What the hell?
That's
Dude,
the
That's
the max,
incredible. Meanwhile,
So-
American baseball has teams named the Expos.
Yeah.
And these guys are like literally dinosaurs on drugs. That's phenomenal. We're mad at Jose Canseco. They got a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex on roids.
It's a part of the history of the game, man. Swole.
Yeah, man. That's phenomenal, dude. I got to get into Korean baseball, bro, for all the reasons you're mentioning. And also their bat flips are ridiculous.
So good.
They encourage it. And American baseball, for whatever stupid reason, just thinks that the game is better when it's boring. And that's just so...
When you say bat flips, what does that mean, bat flips?
It's like hit a home run, instead of just dropping the bat and running to first base,
flip the
kind of
bat.
chuck it out of your hands and it flips end over.
We're not allowed to do that here?
No, we're allowed
to
to
do
do it.
it, but you might get hit by a pitch the next time you come up because the game, like Major League Baseball is a lot of white guys that don't want to let anyone have fun. So any kind of expression of joy gets kind of mediated out of it by getting hit with baseballs if you do it. It's a weird thing about baseball, but it's kind of true.
No flair, I swear.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it's boring. And then you watch guys in Korea do all this wild shit. Dudes doing backflips, like coming around the bases and shit. It's like, come on, man.
Wow.
I'm assuming this is South Korea because, like,
Yeah.
they're not. I don't keep up with current events, but I know North Korea is not.
That'd be dope if it was North Korea though, and we were like, shit, we love their baseball.
But you know, the Kim Jong Uns would be the winners.
If you
all the
strike
time.
out, they just shoot you in the head.
They murder you in the batter's box.
Right? Now there's wrestling is starting though, right? There's gonna be wrestling.
There's been UFC this last week a lot. I've been watching some of that.
But that's full contact. Are you talking about wrestling like WWF wrestling?
Yeah, these are real sports fans here. These guys are real sports fans. Not saying that wrestling's athletic.
I appreciate wrestling. I have nothing against it.
We all do.
I'm just trying to think of what sports are happening. Like, is
that's sports entertainment?
Well, to answer your question, right now the only sports that are really, in America at least, that you could really sit down and watch and really like dig into it the way you would before is the UFC, which is ultimate fighting. That's beyond wrestling. These are guys that are like trying to beat their brains in.
No, I know what ultimate fighting is, and so that is happening then. Then
that is happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
They won't have they won't have whatchamacallit,
fans. They won't have people in the stands. It's just an arena and those guys in the ring with like their doctors and their coaches on.
And they're not scared of getting COVID from the other guy because they'll probably.
No, they test them all the time. They actually had a guy because they test them every few hours before the fight, and they had a guy that pulled out of the fight last minute because he tested positive for it and had it, but nobody else got it, and they were still able to do the event. But they're just always monitoring the people that are participating to make sure that they don't have it and they can do it safely.
Right. So now the other sports
going right now? I don't
know. The other sports want to get back into it, but they can't figure out a practical way.
German soccer just started back up again. I was watching some of that this weekend.
Because
German soccer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably phenomenal soccer, but for like the typical American, like we're still kind of stuck with nothing.
Do they got to practice 6 feet away from each other and just kick the ball?
Yeah, it's incredible. Incredible passing,
5 feet rule through a penalty. I don't know. I'm just curious because I know you guys. Is sports talk still pretty popular, even though there's nothing to talk about?
Well, if you ask, I guess whether it's good or not is all subjective. But I don't really see much of a change because a lot of the times the thing about sports fans and really sports talk radio, a lot of it has to do with shit that happened in the past and also hypothetical situations.
It's a lot of bullshit.
Bullshit. So the fact that we're not really playing any sports right now doesn't really take away from the fact that you can still kick around bullshit with your friends.
Still bullshit about it.
And
I was
Saturdays they're playing like old. I saw they have like a 2002 World Series on yesterday or something like that. Like they're playing like old games and stuff.
I've enjoyed some classic games. I actually read a phenomenal sports book today. I finished Bartolo Colon's book, Big Sexy. It was so good. It was very enjoyable.
Bartolo Colon. Look him up, man.
Actually, I'm gonna see if I got a picture of him somewhere in my bag traps.
Nice.
Trying to think because there was a question also I had because most sports talk is it's just a lot of because you can always bullshit your way around anything. I forget what my follow-up question was to all that stuff. But
Big Sexy right there, right behind Ben
Sexy.
Kolina.
Nice.
He's
Just
looking
that.
at the eclipse in that photo.
Yeah, savage. Come on, bro. Only monsters can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right into the clips.
Oh, I remember because I actually watched one of my favorite things to watch is Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel.
Yeah.
I don't even care about sports. I love me some Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. Doesn't matter what it is. He can talk about. They can have reports on any sport that I don't give a shit about, and I'll just find it compelling only as long as it's in the real sports dynamic. And I watched the recent episode, and it was all somewhat COVID-related stuff involving sports or the lack of. And I just say if you're itching for some sports in the COVID time, get your HBO.
Get your HBO on, or watch The Last Dance, the Chicago Bulls documentary.
Finish that after we get
that's
off.
right, ESPN. There you go. So ESPN.com. All right, moving on.
I'll be right back.
All right. Oh, he's got to get his weed. All right. So, weed delivery, guys. So our next subject here, everybody, is Zoom comedy shows. The pros and cons. As our whole audience here is very familiar with the Zoom comedy shows that both we've been putting on here, other shows around, but now stand-up shows are starting to pop up on a regular basis. There's already been some popular ones. I believe we've all participated in some form of them. I think you just started one, correct, Rudy?
No, well, I'm not doing Zoom comedy shows. I'm doing them, but what I did start up was a thing on Instagram Live where I just interview like my comedy friends and my radio friends. I'll bring them on. Mm-hmm. We'll do an interview of just me and that person. Mm-hmm. And that's been getting some traction, I think, because, the people that usually would go to comedy shows are tuning into stuff online now. So, but the Zoom comedy shows, I've only done like 4 of them. Because I hesitated to do them because I didn't want to accept the fact that that's what comedy was.
Yeah, no.
I really didn't want to do it. So I pushed it off. I was in denial. I just didn't want to accept it. I refused to do it for like a good 3 weeks. And then finally I cracked.
Mm-hmm. What was it?
Time.
It's what one of the things that I've seen a lot of this is where, everybody took the hardline stance of I'm not doing these shows. Because everybody thought that this was going to lift in about a month or 2 months. And then once they saw that, oh, no, we're going into June, maybe July with all this shit, maybe longer. And they started – basically it's the same – I found it's the same stand-up comedian law when you start seeing other people do them and you're not doing anything on a Friday or a Saturday night. And you're seeing all these assholes posting like, I'm doing these doing my Zoom shows, doing whatever, and it looks like they got paid too. So that's the other thing. If it looks like they got paid, then you're definitely like, oh, fuck this. I'll adapt. I'll figure it out.
And honestly, that's not just like the comic thing to do. I think that's the human thing to do.
Oh,
you know?
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like when iPhones first came out, I remember, and when social media first came out, I was real adamant about not participating in it. I had all my philosophies lined up. I had all my morals checked off my list and shit, all the reasons why I wasn't gonna, conform. And soon enough, like the people start going to that avenue. Everybody starts going down that road, and you kind of feel like, well, shit, man, I don't want to be by myself. I might as well participate. But I really think
slowly sell out, right?
Yes, slowly.
I had a pager until 2006. You're preaching to the choir on that. So
But can I say this though? I think one of another real reason why a lot of comics didn't start doing the Zoom show sooner, not just because a lot of people were trying to be, or not just because a lot of people were being cynical and saying, hey man, this will all be over in a month or two. I legitimately think a lot of comics didn't want to have to expose themselves in that fashion, because that's like a different level of vulnerability, because you don't have the crowd. You don't have the energy of the room there. You're not riding the wave from the last comic. You can't, riffing and making shit up can be very different. It's not the same type of flow, So I think a lot of comics, myself included, we thought about, hey, how am I going to come off in this new approach to comedy? Am I going to be any good at this, or because this is not what I'm used to? I think it was a lot of that too.
I'll tell you, I talked to a comic yesterday on the phone. He called me, Sergio Novia.
Novoa, yeah.
Yeah, Novoa. He called me from LA. I was like, what the fuck are you calling me for? Just because we never talked on the phone like that before, but he was like, I'm lonely, how are you? And I was like, okay, cool. So we talked, but he had that stance. That's where it's like, he was like, have you been doing Zoom comedy shows? I won't do them because I just don't think that's not doing stand-up. And I'm like, you're gonna need it so bad at some point if you're the kind of comedian, any of us who are comedians, it's like there is this thing where you're dying to do it. You're dying to tell jokes. You're dying to do, make people laugh. I was like, you're gonna crack, dude. You're gonna fucking crack, and you're gonna do a show. And even though you're gonna hate it, so try not to be too hard. People that are really hard on their beliefs and then they crack, I just think it's hilarious. I'm like, wow.
We don't have any real principles.
Sold your fucking soul.
I mean, it happens though. It happens to because what you're talking about, Eerie, is like, I know there's a lot of comics that won't do it. I know that they're gonna stick to it, and I know a lot of comics changed, like they went to it almost immediately, But I think really what everybody wants to do is they want to share their ideas. Because you get so used to doing stand-up comedy, and it's more than just being a fucking the guy that shows up and doesn't take anything seriously and bullshits and smokes weed in the green room and has your drink tickets. And it's more than like it. You actually want to share your thoughts. You know what I mean? And that's why even the staunchest, most traditional comic, at some point they ended up leaning back into that. At some point they cracked and they went to go do what everybody else was adapting towards, because it's not the same. I know it's not the same. But I've been sharing my ideas for a long time now, and I want to find a place where I can continue to do that. So if this is it, I'll take it for the time being.
Right. I saw you. Yeah, I watched one of your. I never watch anybody's Instagram shit or any very few. I caught yours and I was watching it, and it was entertaining for so like for what little I saw of you and your buddy were doing some shtick or something.
Yeah.
Full of shit. I could tell. I was like, oh, they're fucking with me. Right? They're totally. But you're acting you're playing it straight.
Right.
And what we were talking about is the Zoom comedy shows, pros and cons of them, and all of that. But here's what I think is funny. Sergio Novoa, who produces shows, very cool dude, and all that. Oddly enough, one of the things you see people who take the hardline stance, they're the ones I least expect, because I guarantee you Sergio has had sex online. All right, he definitely participated in some.
You will not do stand up, goddammit. A Zoom show.
And love on the internet, and I'm sure that first time was awkward, but I'm just saying that once you get past it, if you have a good first experience, or at least a good even if you don't have a good first experience, if you find eventually a good one. Ben and I just did a show last night, and he said it was the best show he's done yet. Were you lying, or was that?
No, that was sincerely the most fun that I've had doing a Zoom show. I think it was partly because, from what I've found, it's when I first started doing it, I couldn't really do the material that I would do in comedy shows. It just felt weird. It didn't feel the same, and I wouldn't feel confident doing it. And if you half-ass something, it doesn't really work. So I like that in that situation. Just telling stories about like it was just telling a story about like the weirdest coworker that I ever had, like a really long story, and it was different from normal stand-up, but it still felt like I was like communicating and getting laughs and and trying something new, which is like the most fun thing that I miss about doing stand-up, is getting to do something new and have it work. So it was really, really satisfying in that sense,
That's what cracks me up, because comics have been making all kinds of unwatchable visual content for all of the 10 years that I've been doing stand-up, and yet now that we're forced to do it, all of a sudden people are like, how dare I, or how dare you make me have to do it. By the way, let me address this. Sergio was brought up by Eerie, Melanie, so
yes, Melanie.
There's no man crush or no.
And I do want to say one other thing about Sergio. You're absolutely right, Dave. the first one. I mean, he's the first one to put his penis in a glory hole, and yet he will not do Zoom stand up. I mean, come on.
Come on, man.
You know?
He'll
He'll tell you that's the thing. He'll tell you. Yeah.
Hey, can I just
Too unknown. Zoom comedy's too unknown for me. I'm not gonna do it. But I don't know who's on the other side of the glory hole.
No, it is a vulnerable thing. It's this new vulnerable. It's having to restart from scratch again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to repeat what Deneen MC wrote. She wrote adapt or die. Now,
Yeah.
Now look, as I know that sounds crazy. That sounds over the top. But it's true though. It's true though. In every aspect of life, you have to take on that approach. It's okay if you don't want to survive. You just don't adapt, and you'll be fine. You'll trail off. But after a while, though, that whole instinct to want to survive and want to continue to do something that has some semblance to what you've been doing for a long time, you say, "Fuck it, I'll do it. I'll tap into a Zoom show. I'll make it happen. I'll even if it's a totally different energy, if it's a totally different approach." I'll figure it out, you know. And I think there's gonna be a good time for a lot of comics to really see if they can adapt or not, if they're adaptable or not.
Yeah, the first couple of times I did a Zoom show, I was like, this isn't the same, and I don't know if I like this as much, and blah blah blah. And then I thought about it, I was like, what the fuck else am I doing? I'm stuck at home.
Right.
Like, do them, you know?
Were they
Figure out a way to
established?
make it fun.
Were they established shows, Ben, that you did?
They were all right. I can't remember which shows it was. I think maybe one was through Piano Fight, and it was like a good crowd and it was fun. But I just felt like the feeling of just doing my old material that I know works to my laptop camera just not satisfying.
No, it really has to do with your attitude, because I was lucky. I say I was lucky because what introduced me to it was a panel style show. I would say much like a live podcast with it was me. And Terry Dorsey, Tammy T. Love, and Chelsea Bierce, and they all love to riff, you know, and then with me there, and we basically entertained a bunch of these Peninsula men and women who were also very generous in tipping. So it helped that they tipped generously, because at the time I was thinking like, oh, I guess I'm just not going to do comedy for a long time, and then she brought up this whole Zoom thing the very next week, and I'm like, what, you know, and I almost thought not to do it, but she was so adamant that it would be a good time, and we did it, and I had a first good experience. I could see how comedy doing a stand-up set would be different, but luckily then it gave me the idea for me and Eerie to continue our show doing this, and which has been fun for our crowd and what we got each week. Gives us something to focus on, something to look forward to, and invite other comics too. And then when I did the stand-up shows, I already had a better attitude towards kind of going into that. And those actually, I've only done one shit show, and it wasn't a shit show per se. It was like going to a bad urban show. It was run by a black dude who I've known for a long time, and he ran it just like some shit shows that I've done in like black rooms that like, you know, just had a whole lot. It was cool. I actually enjoyed it because it was like, oh, cool. I haven't done like an online urban show in a long time. It was mostly like, you know, a bunch of know what I'm saying and kind of shit like that. And, you know, this sounds really racist to you guys, but I'm telling you, you know, comedy. They know.
Did you say a bunch of know what I'm saying?
A bunch of know what I'm saying and know what I mean. Okay. You feel me? It's a lot of that. And so
you're gonna make me very self-conscious every time I say those phrases in front of you.
You got to pass though. You transcend all. That's what I'm saying. You go from Tommy T to Punchline. You're good. You know the rest. I can you know kind of go around that. I know Eerie's done some of those shows. Ben's done those shows. We've all been around there. But it's
my favorite line when I do one of those shows is to get up there and go, "White people, right? Oh my God, yeah."
That's what everybody was thinking. You know what they're thinking.
I know. Yeah. I know how white I am.
That was the only shit show I did, and I did fine. I just realized I already said, I'm like, none of you are essential. Essential.
Wow.
Right. I know I'm not getting any money tonight. I said, and that was just, you know, they laughed.
Manager.
You gotta spit that real shit.
You know. All right. So the next, our next topic here, and this is a sort of a challenge. And that is, all right, solve the coronavirus quarantine in 5 minutes. Who wants to go first?
In 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Shit. I'll give it a try. In 5 minutes, I guess what I would do if I had the power to, I would. I mean, do I have all the resources?
You do what you have, whatever you need to solve it.
5 minutes already started.
Carte blanche.
Okay, so the first thing, if I was, let's say I was running this shit, right? First thing I would do is I would start having a weekly address that isn't in like a press conference fashion or a briefing. Just like if I was the president, I would just be talking to the country, right? Because I feel like one thing that we could really use right now would be somebody, and of course we don't have this guy in particular in office, but at least somebody addressing the nation like on a personal level, on a one-on-one level. Yeah. Because right now I think one of the things that's really messing with people's heads and really making everybody's, the burden of this so heavy is just good old-fashioned fear, And I feel like I've seen this movie in America before where fear just runs rampant and everybody's petrified and people start making bad decisions and they start feeling and thinking crazy things because they're so full of fear. So I would at least try to calm people down at first. That step number 1, try to get people to calm the fuck down. Let everybody relax, all right? Let's just take a step back from YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. Let's just, everybody calm down.
Would you issue stimulus Xanax to everybody?
Why not? I mean, shit, it's better than that $1,200, man. That $1,200 is gone the second that people got that money. But that would be one of my first priorities would be to calm the fear. Then number 2, I would ask everybody to please get tested, like as soon as possible. Yeah, I would urge them, please get tested. Let's do this so we can start weeding things out. And then after I get everybody tested, I would bring people, and I don't have a vaccine. I still have no way to cure you. I would start bringing people out and to go back to work and try to get back to a life of normalcy, because I think having people inside the house is really just, it's like rearranging our whole culture. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how staying away from each other is going to make this situation better. I think at some point we're going to have to just accept the fact that we're going to live with coronavirus. I feel like that's what they're telling us as it is. Like, this isn't going anywhere. No. This is going to be something that's going to hang around, and you're going to be watching commercials for coronavirus drugs in about 5 or 6 years on TV. So I think that at this point, if we're just going to have this corona virus in existence and we're never going to find a vaccine, then we got to stop being afraid of each other, and we got to get back to our normal lives as much as we possibly can.
Rudy Ortiz for 2024 president. Everybody.
Run it back, man. Run it back.
Ben, what's your 5-minute solution?
All right, I would elect John Taffer president. I feel like he has the skills to guide us through this crisis. He's got the ability to shut it down. Shut this filthy bar down and clean it. You got to clean this bar if you want the AccuBev system put in. That's how it goes. I really think, people, if, people aren't, safe distancing and they're going out and they're spreading shit around, just send Taffer out there. Get him out there. He'll scream. He'll actually be a lot of projectiles from him. He's not going to wear a mask. And if you watch him on the show, it's like a shotgun of projectiles. But he'll shut it down, though. He'll shut it down, and he'll keep us safe. Taffer 2020.
I'm gonna take a wild guess. That's a coach.
No, you don't know Bar Rescue?
Bar Rescue guy.
I don't know Bar Rescue.
Bar Rescue, baby.
It's Bar Rescue guy. What the fuck?
Some people don't know. Not everybody here I know knows Bar Rescue. I know my parents don't.
It's a phenomenal show.
Yeah.
Even if you don't watch the show.
If you haven't seen Bar Rescue yet, then you're in for a treat.
I've seen one episode, and that was when our local comic El Boogie was on there from the Hayward. From Russell City,
Fogline Bar.
He started a fight. He's known for a fight that occurred during the episode. And then at comedy shows, he will tell people that's his credit. Like from Bar Rescue, you might know this guy starting some shit and getting in a fight.
I might know. I'm a big Bar Rescue fan.
You know who El Boogie is. You've had to have crossed paths with him.
I'm sure I have. There's some Denver comics that I knew that a bar they worked at was in it, and they were in an episode. Yeah, and I saw Marshawn Lynch episode recently.
Yeah. Ben, Marshawn. I like your proposal, man.
Taffer 2020.
That is good. That is actually a good. Yeah.
I really like it. Have you thought about running with Rudy on the ticket?
Never know. I don't know. It's
VP for Taffer.
It'd
I
be
mean,
like,
I
it would be like, you know.
no. Taffer could be like the bad cop, and I could be the good cop. You know?
Yeah, we need to balance the ticket. You can't
Right.
be up here. Taffer's gonna be up here, and you're gonna be like more down here.
Right,
you know?
but I get it. I'm all
Yeah.
for that. If he dies, I'm next in line, though. I'm
Oh
calling it
yeah,
right now.
and look at him. It could happen at any moment. He's just
All
gonna
those
scream and
projectiles. Come
explode.
on.
All right, we made some headway there. I think we got some real solutions.
Like honestly though, like I don't think that there is like a easy solution.
No.
But honestly, I legitimately think that this is going to be something that they're going to be selling us drugs for like the next 20, 30 years. Like, and we're going to be selling Corona drugs on TV, man. That's the way. That's the future of this virus in America.
I just love I'm loving how I love how the conspiracies are mutating more than the virus itself. Just every.
Didn't you watch Plandemic, Dave?
I love how Plandemic came out. Watch this before it gets down, and then it's been bullshit because this bitch got fired and it's just trying to get back at her boss, and they don't shut it down because of the information. They shut it down because there's a copyright infringement involved with the video. And then like all the back and forth with all this shit, and here's the other thing too, because everybody was so concerned about all of the freedom fuckers that were like all going out protesting the shelter in place. I want any numbers. Let's have any of those motherfuckers died, because constantly we would get the report of like the bus driver who was bitching at the guy coughing, and then like 2 weeks later he's dead. There was a worker.
Dave, I agree. I want to know. Like they were kind of like the canary in the coal mine. You know what I mean?
I'm
they
curious.
were out there shouting, no masks.
The beachcombing motherfuckers.
All right, but can I say this though? I gotta say this because I feel like in America all we ever show is extremes. We're either going to show you the most liberal of the liberal or the most conservative of the conservative. In America, they never show you the person in the middle, the rational thinker, the one that just has questions for both sides. That's all. They never show you the person that's not jumping to conclusions. They always show you the extremes. Where's the person that says, hey, look, I believe that this is a real thing. Obviously, people are dying. Obviously, this is a concern. But can we also keep an eye on the government? Because these motherfuckers are known to take shit from us when we're all petrified like this. Yeah. Can somebody please watch them?
He's sitting right over here. That's my stepdad. That's my stepdad.
Well,
my mom. Yeah.
Dave, but that's all I'm saying, man. Like in America, they never show you that person, which I think really makes up the grand majority of us, the vast majority. But they never show you the person who simply just has questions. I'm a critical thinker. I'm not jumping to conclusions. I just want to remind everybody that our country has a history of taking your shit when you're sleeping. Like when you're scared and you don't, and you can't agree on anything because you're so petrified, America will come in and change the laws right from underneath you. And now you're screwed over for the next 20 years to some extent for something that had nothing to do with the damn virus. Again, not saying the virus isn't real. I believe it is, but we also just have to be weary of that because America does that. That's our jam. That's our motherfucking jam.
Everybody together, Rudy, 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 Rudy.
Because dude, I say this.
I wish I caught a video of everybody just all together, just moving.
Isn't that awesome? Rudy,
I say this because people will call you a conspiracy theorist if you ask questions. I think that's so weird. That's so crazy.
No, it's one of those ways they managed to. They call it astroturfing now, where if it's they engineer the new conspiracy theories to almost dismiss all ability for people to like by creating a bunch of horseshit conspiracy theories, or even like mix in some shit with the you manage to get people to dismiss all of it, and I think they've done a good job of that. You can't, because what it does is it eliminates critical thinking.
Exactly.
I think we've had that. We even had that discussion or a brief chat on that a little while ago on somebody's thread. So
yeah,
well, that's all right.
All right.
I think we solved everything. So
we got it. Coronavirus done. What's next?
Finished.
College. How about college debt? Let's move on to college debt.
Here's the part that I'm gonna call. This is our tips on shelter in place from our comedians. And while like pun intended, this is also the time that if you wish to tip our comedians today, who are in place and whatever, you can Venmo me, and those tips will be split up with our comedian guests here today. I'm gonna post it in the thing here as well. But yeah, as you can see, this is my comedy club that I ran. Me and Dave Venmo's comedy club, or whatever. So yeah, just feel free to Venmo me, and I will split that with our comedians of today.
I just want to say that all my money is going to go towards the John Taffer ticket for him to run for president.
Right
so
there.
I just want
Got it down.
Got it down.
All my money's going to John Taffer's campaign.
So I guess so now after that, tips on surviving shelter in place. I wanted to hear from Eerie. Eerie, do you have any tips on surviving your current tips with shelter in place today?
Current tips. Can I pass? Can you?
Yeah, sure, not a problem. All right, moving to our other comedians here. Tips.
Let's start with Ben, because Rudy's done a lot of talking. Ben.
All right.
Ben, tips.
I would say I've been getting a lot of outside time, and that's been good. Actually, the other day, I saw the most amazing thing accidentally when I walked out on my porch to have a smoke. I'm walking, and then I'm standing out on the porch. This car drives down with a bunch of stuff hanging on it at Jeddah, and an American flag flies off of this car as it's going through the intersection, lands in the middle of the street. A couple seconds later, the car doubles back to come back and pick up the American flag, and the guy's gonna try and do that move like Nick Cage in Raising Arizona, where he pops the door and grabs the diapers as he's moving. But instead, he just drives over the American flag, and he stops on top of it, and he actually gets out of the car, and he's crawling around, and he sees that he's parked his car on the flag, and then he gets back in the car to get it off of the flag to then go back and pick it up after he ran it over. And I just thought that was the best thing in the world. I was just dying.
Good.
So have that guy drive by your house and do that. That helps.
I was gonna say, so your tip is have that guy drive by your house.
Yeah. Well, my tip is to be looking for those kind of moments that you can see from your window safely.
I love it.
Right. Yeah. Opening up your eyes to the world. I like that.
Yeah.
I like Rudy.
My only tip would be to get out the house, man. Get out the house. Get out the house. And start doing other shit other than the monotony of being in your living room or watching Black Panther for the 7th day in a row or whatever it is that you're doing.
Hey, don't you knock Black Panther?
Oh, dude, I've been watching it. Dude, I have a whole new appreciation for Eric Killmonger, for Killmonger, dude. Like I have a whole thesis that I want to write on him because I've seen that damn movie every day. But no, just get out the house. That's my number one tip. Don't get too lethargic. Don't get too comfortable at home. Don't get too fat if you can avoid it. You know, because that's all I'm doing right now. I've been just watching TV and eating food. So get out the house if you can, as much as you can.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm with you guys. Getting out and actually seeing other people. My big highlight of every day is walking my dog in the neighborhood. Woo, woo.
Hey, if that's what it takes, though.
Sure. And everybody's very have you guys noticed that everyone's hyper friendly right now? It's people, I'll be walking by, people are like, hello. I'm like, hey, what's up? It's almost a little creepy, but it's a good way to actually see other people, not just the ones on the television too. So it's good. It's good. That's been helping a lot.
Yeah.
But you know what? I conflict with your idea about, I think you should go ahead and get fat. Eat as much as you want. Drink as much as you want. Fuck it. Who's gonna see you? Fuck it. That. I think you should just be able to say fuck it right now. I'm gonna gain 50 pounds, and I'm just gonna get drunk all the time, and just I mean, who cares? Who cares?
Just let it roll.
Have fun. Enjoy yourself.
I've been discovering the beauty of some non-dairy ice cream sandwiches that have really been
great, Dave.
My tip has been chocolate covered vanilla ice cream. Actually, they're ice cream bars and they have them at grocery outlet. They're $2.50 for four of them, and I've gone through 12 in the last 2 days. And
Savage.
got 4 more, and I'm going
Set
back
records,
more
Dave.
tomorrow. And that's
Dave doesn't eat dairy. Dave doesn't do dairy.
no, it's not. It's non-dairy. These are non-dairy, and they're
No,
fucking.
but I'm just saying. So it's cool that you found that.
Oh yeah, no, believe me. Anytime there's not, but it's rare that they got some non-dairy ice cream that's good over at the grocery outlet by my place, because you got grocery outlets like it's all the shit that's not that it's like expired or it's nearing it or whatever, and they came into a nice haul of these wonderful ice cream bars that are they're pretty cheap. They're small, but they're still, you get 4 of them for $2.50, and that's not bad. I just try not to plow through them so fast.
Yeah.
All right. So that being said, my tip also for shelter in place is go to as many of these Zoom things as possible.
Yes.
Which right after this show, there's a wonderful show that'll be going on at this meeting ID on Zoom. I just posted it in the chat with it's Rhoda Ramon's storytelling, or it's called Good Spiel Hunting or something like that. We're doing like these TED Talks, comedic TED Talks. So yeah, feel free to grab that meeting ID, throw that in your Zoom, and the password's Ramon, and that's going on right after this show. I'm like running right over there after this. So without further ado, is there anything else?
There?
Huh?
Leaving the house. You're not
running. I'm rushing right over there, right on the board, jumping.
Does anybody have any shows they want to plug besides Dave?
Yeah. Anything else?
Rudy, you want to plug something?
I mean, I do a show called Live at 7:45 Monday through Friday. I'll interview I'll interview comics. I'll interview some of my radio friends. This week coming up, I got like some brand ambassadors that are based out of San Francisco. Just interesting, just people that I think could be kind of interesting if you catch them on the right day. So if you go to my Instagram, it's Rudy Ortiz at 7:45 p.m. That's when I have the interview. So come check it out.
Hey, Ben, you got any shows or anything you want to plug?
Just my Twitter at Ben Kolina on Twitter. I don't have anything to plug, but if I do, it'll be there when it happens.
And hey, if you're gonna be following him on Twitter, do not talk shit. All right, the hard way. He will.
Your house will burn down.
That's our thing. Wow.
That man.
If you talk shit about Ben Kolina, your house will burn down. Be careful.
Right? Be careful.
5:40 in the morning. You gotta watch that shit. Just take it easy. Enjoy what he has to say.
I've got a show. We're doing it every 2 weeks. It's basically a Match Game in Isolation reboot, Match Game Apocalypse. And we got a bunch of comedians, and we actually play Match Game with contestants. And the contestants can win a small pizza delivered to their house with 1 topping. And then if they win the bonus round, they get 2 toppings.
Ooh.
And possibly a medium, but they gotta get the right answer. So
yeah, talk about incentives.
Yeah, it's a fun game because we have there's like 6 to 7 celebrity guests, and some of them are comedians, some of them are from the burlesque world. So we have some producers and hosts and stuff that are from the burlesque world. So it's really fun. So the next one is coming up this coming Saturday at 7:00. So there you go. You can tune in.
Awesome.
Catch me on Instagram.
Want to thank our audience. We got some latecomers here. Yvette, nice to see you. Shane, my buddy Shane. These are 2 awesome friends.
Hi, Yvette.
What up?
We were here earlier. We had a wonderful show, but like I said, you follow on to this other show that I'm doing right after here if you want. But Rudy, you know Yvette. I believe you know Yvette. Does she look familiar right there?
Yes.
Yes, that's it.
Yes, she does. How you doing, Yvette?
Wonderful event. So
yeah, exactly.
I want to thank everybody once again.
Thank you guys so much for coming and visiting us every Sunday at 6:00. We'll be back next Sunday.
Got some Modesto comics. Got some Modesto comics.
Yeah. So guys, thank you so much, Rudy Ortiz. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Elect President Rudy.
Ben.
Woo! And Kolina.
Thank you guys. Have a good night, everyone.
I'm Eerie Diamond. That's me and Dave. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week, 6:00. Do it all over again. Bye, guys.
Cool. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Eerie.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Ben, take it easy, man.
Thanks, guys. See you, Rudy. Stay safe.
You too, man.